Hello and welcome to my garden here in Denmark. This is my second video. We now have mid-September. We finally had some rain. Quite a lot actually over the last week. Some things are not looking that good yet, simply because they took damage from the sun. We had a lot of drought here in Denmark. Not as much as in the UK and Germany, but still quite a lot. As you can see, the butterflies are still enjoying. Here it's the Verbena, bonariensis. With Rudbeckia goldstorm in the background. Also, Agastache black adder is still popular. This is a bit early in the day, so not that many butterflies yet. Quite a few bees though. This tree or shrub is called a Harlequin Glorybower or bower. I really like it. It is winter hardy here in Denmark. I've had it for quite a few years now. I would say one of the disadvantages is that it will sometimes respond with some shoots around it. The trick is to just pull them up. Don't dig them up, just pull them up when they appear. Sometimes it's a plus though, if you want to propagate it. You can see I have one that appears next to the plant right here. This one, that is a side shoot. I think the reason why it's appearing here is because I've been digging there and I probably disturbed the root system. I've heard some have issues that it comes with a lot of extra shoots, but mine only give one every now and then, really rare for me to see a shoot. But I think it is because I've been disturbing the soil around it. The reason why I disturbed it is that right here where you are looking at my grass path, there used to be a border. I made a path here because a bit of my garden ended in a dead end. And I never went to that dead end, so I made this path through to the dead end, basically. This over here used to be the dead end. It just ended here in a round circle, and this I turned into a border as well. Over here, there used to be a round area down here with grass, and no grass here. But the issue was that with the dead end, I never really came here. So I decided to move the grass here and make my border part of this circle, and also the middle section of this bed over here used to be grass as well. So I actually moved some grass, and also I removed some grass. So a little bit of both really. The end result is more perennials though than I used to have. Also some of the perennials from the border where I put the grass have been established in this bed, giving an instant height to it. But some of these plants actually were bought from very small plants. This Aster Mönch, for example, was planted in the spring, right after I established this bed border, and it was a very low plant. I bought it cheaply, and I bought around 7 or 8, and I planted them, and this is how they look in late in the year. This is also Agastache black adder, the same as the other one that I showed you. Again, it is popular with the butterflies, just as in my last video. This is a popular plant amongst both bees and butterflies. Just going back a little bit. This is a witch hazel. I'm not sure if it's due to the drought or due to the colder weather, but it is beginning to show its autumn colors. A funny thing about the witch hazel, if you have one, is that you can already now start to see the flower buds on it. These very little buds that appear right here, those will in fact become the flowers, and it will, here in Denmark, flower in January, February, and or March. It depends a lot upon the weather when it starts. I have had this variety, I think it's Arnold's Promise, start as early as January, but it depends a lot on the winter. This is a David Austin rose called Lady of Shalott. It is about to repeat flowering. You can see it has one bud that is about to open. I really like this rose. Yeah, another feature of the garden is this tree. It's a tulip tree. I planted that 4 years ago. About 4 years ago. It is a variegated variety. So the leaves are not all green on it. As you can see, it has a bit of variation to them. So it's a variegated leaf on this one. It will become quite tall, of course, and that is what I'm counting on. But so far, it doesn't cast a really deep shade. Also, the coneflowers are still flowering. I deadheaded them a little bit too late, I think. I should have deadheaded them a little bit earlier. That would have provided more flowers. But as always with the coneflowers, if you deadhead them, you won't get any seedlings around them. I did, or rather it depends upon how late you deadhead them. If I deadhead it once again, it will probably not provide any seedlings, but might provide an additional flowering. Last year I actually had some seedlings start up down here. The one you can see right there, that is a seedling that has gone into flower this year. And also down here, you can see, oh, let me see if I can just hold the camera better. A seedling right here. Perhaps a little bit close to the edge of the border. I should probably move that so that I don't mow it. Yeah, let's continue on. Hydrangea Limelight, still looking good. Next to it, this is Nepeta Walker Slow, and it is flowering again. I didn't cut it down, but it is reflowering on its own. You can see the old stems have finished flowering. I should have removed those, but I didn't. But still it is reflowering on its own. This is a sterile variety, so it won't seed around. And I like that, and perhaps that's also why it's reflowering. It isn't putting all of its energy into seeds. This is popular among the bees as well. Over here we have a rose called the Pilgrim. It's a David Austin rose, and it is beginning to reflower. I really like the color on that one. It will look, I think it will look really good here in a week. But still, already it looks good. In the background of the rose, I have, I think it's Sanguisorba Sanguisorba pink brushes. And you might say, oh, they don't look that pink. That's due to the weather we had. You can see some of the new flowers on it are pink. And all of the old ones are either rather dead looking or bleached by the sun. We just had so warm weather while this one was flowering that the sun bleached it. I've never seen that happen before, but I still think that it looks quite fun. Also, I like the leaves on it. Don't know if we can get a good look at the leaves. On the other side, it's a rose called Victor Borge. No, sorry. Oh yeah, it's Victor Borge. This one. It is not in flower yet, but will rebloom soon. I don't think you can buy this rose in that many places other here in Denmark. Here in Denmark, I think it's quite popular due to Victor Borge. But in other countries, I don't know if you can even purchase this variety. It is a rose with large flowers, and it will repeat flowering. I like plants that repeat flower. A daylily, rather late for this one. It is reblooming. It has bloomed once, and it is blooming again. See if we can. Having a little bit, I'm standing in a quite awkward position to film this. Also over here, probably one of the last flowers from this daylily. I do like daylilies. This is also Aster Mönch, a very well established plant. That one was established last year, in the spring last year. And this one has really formed a huge clump. I'm hoping that the other clumps that I have of it will respond just as well as this one. And this one is this flowering is probably as good as it's gonna get. Yeah, let's just take a really good look at the individual flowers. Yeah, they're nice for an Aster. I think this is very nice. This is still flowering. Also, of course, Rosa is still flowering. It just keeps on going until frost, really. That is such a nice plant. And they will come back next year, also here in Denmark. The Verbena bonariensis that I mentioned, those will quite often freeze back and die in the winter here in Denmark. Sometimes they get through, sometimes they don't. But the nice thing about them is that they always seed around. So there will be seedlings in many places. I think some of them, in some places, they tend to survive better here in the garden than other places. So probably, I'm not sure if it's due to the frost that's removing them, or if it's a combination of frost and wet that is killing them off. But anyhow, I'm not gonna do anything about that. I actually like that they sort of change positions every now and then. And sometimes I have a lot of them, and sometimes I have a few. But I really like that they sort of turn into a little flower that's sort of just hanging in the air here. You can see through them. They don't tend to strangle things here. I don't know in countries where they survive the winter if they get a lot bigger, if they get or perhaps become more dense. Because here, where they tend to die every winter, they are always this 1, 2, 3 or 4 stalks of flowers, and not a huge impact on the ground either. You can see here, not a lot of leaf there. So they, here in Denmark, they don't tend to outcompete the other plants. They just seem to supplement them, and I do like that. I have a fuchsia over here. My history with winter hardy fuchsias has not been too good. My mother keeps sending me new ones because she can. It's easy to propagate a fuchsia, so she propagates them, and I kill them. That's not so good. This one has actually survived the winter. I think she's so far sent me 5. This one is the 5th and only survivor until now. I tried to plant this one on a mound. You can't see the mound due to all of the leaves from the other perennials, but it is sitting on a mound, and I hope that that's why it survived the winter, because if that's the case, then it will hopefully survive the next winter as well. I've seen them here in the city where I live, so you can actually establish them. Once they are big, they will they will come back. But and I am hoping that this one is now strong enough to survive the winter. But well, the other ones I killed off actually looked quite good in the autumn as well. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, my history with that fuchsia is not too good. But let's see if that one makes it. I'm hoping that it will, because the bees really like it, and I like the flowers of it as well. They are such a nice red. Yeah, I have a woodland aster. That one I will remove. I think it's too much in the sun. And also I think it has been spreading a little bit too rapidly for this border, or rather for this garden. So I will remove it and I will replace it with something else. Also, I don't think that it looks good here in autumn. So I think I'll simply remove that. I think I heard, I can't remember, it was a British plantswoman saying that you should choose plants that die well. And I think she has a point, because that plant doesn't die well, right? It's not like this one where I still think that it's a funny plant, even though some of the flowers actually look quite bad. They still have a nice form to them and look good even when they are slowly losing their color. But I don't like the shape of that aster. So that one will probably. Oh, and almost forgot. We have Crown Princess Margareta standing here. It's a rose. Oh, and I live in a region here in Denmark. We don't have any Japanese beetles, so I can have long flowering roses. I think they are starting to appear here in Europe as well, though. But at least here in Denmark, I can have my roses. I can still have my roses. Let's see how that goes in the future. These invasive beetles are getting closer, I think. And from what I've heard, they should actually be able to survive our winters as well. So yeah, that might become a problem in the future. But let's see. And Crown Princess Margareta is, of course, a variety that from David Austin that you can purchase in other countries as well. Over here I have a rose called Morten Korch. Let's not linger too much on that one, because you can't purchase that in a lot of other countries other than Denmark. It's one of those local varieties. It is actually quite a good looking rose. Very tall as well. I like that. I need to establish better plants around it though. I like my rose stalks when they are covered in leaves. Just like over on the other side. I really like when on the other side of the path, I really like when my rose stalks, when I can't see the bare stalks of these roses. So I just cover them in ground cover. And the ground cover, of course, looks quite good on its own. Oh, now we are losing the sun a little bit. Should be coming back in just a few moments, right? Only a small cloud up there, blocking it out. Well, I can't control the weather. This is the newly established border, but from the other side of the path. This shrub used to be here though, standing in a little round border on its own. But I actually like that it became part of the garden instead. Aster Mönch again. And also I repeat Nepeta walker slow throughout the garden. Very popular among the bees. This is a David Austin rose called Roald dahl. It was planted this year. It is flopping a little bit, but very nice roses. I hope that it will flop less next year. And otherwise, if it does, it will be a lot taller by then. And then it might not matter as much that it is flopping a little bit. Crown Princess Margareta, that's also the David Austin rose that I mentioned earlier, was flopping a little bit as well. But it didn't matter as much because the stems were so much taller. And it seems like only the top of the stems really flop. But you can still see the flowers when the stalks are just a little bit higher. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you should see this. Just want to show you the look from my kitchen window. Looks like this. That is a nice view, right? Oh, and again, we are losing the sun a little bit. Yeah, and we're almost back to where we started. Oh, and I have a raspberry on my terrace. It is actually providing some raspberries. Oh yeah, and I have a blueberry bed as well. I think the blueberries, I've had so many blueberries this year that I just can't keep up. So the wasps are helping me with them. See down here as well, quite a lot of blueberries here. And I have had so many blueberries that I just didn't have the time to eat all of them. I used them as a snack. I could probably bake with them, but I tend to use them as a snack instead. Yeah. And we're back where we started. Yeah, thank you for sitting through this video. It got a little bit longer than I wanted to, but thank you for watching. Bye bye.